I am singing to my dear cowardly lion. God bless him.
Wow.
And we know what she sang.
Wow. Speaking of Cowardly Lion, your story as a young man, you had a moment where you approached her, and she revealed a real humility and humanity. I mean, you said her response to this young kid from Milwaukee approaching her at a table was quite revelatory.
I saw 3 concerts. The last 2 in 1967, right after the Palace, when she played Chicago. That's as close as she came to home. And I was 16, and I looked very much like Opie of Mayberry, you know, a little red hair and a little tie and the whole thing. And I had friends who were staying at the Ambassador East, Garland fans who were pen pals of mine. They were in their 20s, but they stayed at the Ambassador East because they knew that's where she'd stay, the posh hotel in Chicago. So after the concert, I went back to the hotel with them. We followed Judy's limousine in a cab, and we went up to one of their rooms to watch a TV interview that Judy had done. But then about 1:30 in the morning, we went down to the Pump Room. Now, the Pump Room was the posh restaurant in the posh Ambassador East. And again, they had a live piano, bass, drum, guitar quartet that played for dancing until like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, and waiters in uniforms and flaming shish kebab swords and chafing dishes and all the very kind of classy eating out. Well, we got there, the 4 of us, myself and my friends, and Judy was, let's say that this is all on one level. There was a booth right here where Judy was sitting with her manager and her conductor. And when we came in here, they put the 4 of us at a table right here, literally right across the aisle from Judy Garland. And my friends sat there and there and there, so they could all kind of look at her. And I ended up with my back to her, and I thought, well, that's not fair. And you know, I ordered a glass of Coca-Cola because I didn't want a shish kebab, obviously. And so I had this $5 glass of Coca-Cola that I was kind of holding up and trying to see her reflection behind. I didn't have much class at 16. Anyway, when she was done eating, I got up, and my friends were all, well, you're not going to go and talk. I said, I might not ever get another chance to say anything to Judy Garland. And at that point, I had figuratively been in love with her for 11 years. And I got up, and as I said, she was done eating, and the 2 gentlemen were talking to each other, and she was just kind of sitting. She's wearing a little white jacket and short white skirt, and I just walked over and I said, Judy, and she looked up, and immediately, as if she'd been waiting all her life to meet Opie of Mayberry, there was this very warm, welcoming smile, and those huge eyes that were so dark brown as to be almost black. And I said, I don't want to bother you, but I just have to tell you how wonderful you were tonight. I've never seen you perform any better, which, coming from somebody who looked like he was 12, must have carried a lot of weight. But, you know, I said, and it was so much fun seeing Lorna and Joe, her 2 youngest. I said, seeing them in the act with you, it was just a great night, and I just had to tell you, and I did all of that on one breath, you know, not a pause. And she looked at me smiling and listened, and when I finally did stop talking, she said, well, that's very nice of you. Thank you very much. You know, we have a good time working together. And then she said, of course, you know, the implication being that I was so happen with it. She said, of course, you know, this is their last weekend in the show. They have to go back to New York on Sunday to start school on Monday. And I said to David earlier, I was listening and nodding, and I wanted to make notes on my shirt cuff, so I'd remember all of this. And I said, well, anyway, I just had to tell you. And she kept smiling and nodded her head as if to acknowledge me. And I turned to go, and then I remembered one more thing I wanted to say, and I whirled back as if she were going to disappear in 2 seconds. I whirled back, and she did a mock little take, but still smiling, and we both laughed. And I said, oh, and I'm coming to see you again tomorrow night. And she laughed. And again, if there are any Garland fans here who know that laugh, it started at the soles of her feet. It was a great, wonderful, rich, happy sound and contagious. So I laughed. And she wasn't laughing at me. She was just laughing at all of this enthusiasm. And when we both stopped laughing, she looked at me and she kind of gave me the narrow eye, and she said, well, you got a lot of courage to sit through 2 of them. And I said, no, it's my pleasure. Anyway, thanks for everything. And that was the first moment the smile left her face. And with great, simple sincerity, she looked deeply up into my eyes, and she said, "Thank you." I would have done anything she wanted. What I should have done was taken this shish kebab sword and run it through Sid Luft, but I didn't have that presence of mind.
We also have to talk a little bit about Margaret Hamilton. I mean, she got the biggest applause